Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
Coming up, where's the pads? Apple does not give us new iPads at this week's announcement. I, for one, am upset.
I hate the Plus. A new browser from Opera, they're just coasting. Reader 2 is live, and is the new iPad getting its own fingerprint sensor?
I don't know, but I do know I want to play a little Tetris Blitz on iPad today.
I got a better game. Stay tuned.
What am I doing?
It's better.
I don't know.
iPad Today is brought to you by GoToMeeting with HD Faces from Citrix, the powerfully simple way to meet and collaborate with coworkers and clients anywhere. You can share the same screen and see each other face-to-face with HD video conferencing, even from an iPad. Sign up for your 30-day free trial today. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button, and use the promo code iPad. And by Shutterstock.com. With over 28 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips, Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. For 30% off your new account, go to Shutterstock.com and use the offer code iPadToday9. And by Audible.com. To download a free audiobook of your choice, go to audiblepodcast.com/iPadToday. Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Hello there, Leo.
Hi there, Sarah. I am fine.
I'm on a mountain singing about, well, I was really excited to do the show.
The hair is alive.
With the sound of
Sarah. This is a show all about the iPad, not about bad singing.
No.
Contrary to popular opinion.
Although we try to add that in here and there. I was so excited to do this show. 1 week ago, we sat here and said, I don't know, we might have some really fun iPad news this time next week.
No.
Not the case.
I thought real discipline shown by Tim Cook. No winks, no nothing. It's iPhone, iPhone, iPhone. He was very focused. Okay, a little bit of iTunes Festival, a little bit of stores, but then iPhone, iPhone, iPhone. We didn't learn much. It was the 5C and the 5S, just like everybody thought. The C, I'm curious about this. Are you excited about the plastic color iPhone?
Well, okay, so you and I, for
We were
anybody
sitting there
who watched
doing
our
it.
live coverage, we've talked about this, but I've had a couple of days to let it sink in and try to figure out, is the 5C going to be this runaway hit? Depending on who you ask. Some people think it is. Other people say, no way, it's way overpriced if you're going to get the phone unlocked.
I showed Abby, who has an iPhone 4, is due for an upgrade.
Yeah.
And I didn't even show her the 5S. I showed her the C, and she was all excited.
Is it the bright color?
It's the bright color.
It drew her to it? Something about it just kind of seemed alive and fun?
And I think that's who it's aimed for. She's 21. It's aimed for the under 25 set.
Yeah.
They want color. They want style. This is aimed for people my age, the iPhone 5S.
It's the classic.
Black. Space gray.
Well designed.
Silver. And that.
And then you get it.
It's for jazzy people.
You know, here's the thing, is that when we were sitting there, I said, well, I like the yellow one. And I actually really do, because I love the color yellow. And if the iPhone 5C wasn't basically just a dressed up version of the iPhone 5, which is exactly what it is, I would get a yellow one. But I want the better camera, and I want the fingerprint sensor. Right. So I'm going...
You already have a 5.
I do.
There's nothing to gain
Exactly.
from...
If you don't already have a 5, then the 5C is going to be awesome, and you can choose the color of your choice.
Right.
But it's not a cheap iPhone. It's simply it's the iPhone 5 in a different shell. That's exactly what it is.
So this begs the question then, what is there going to be a new iPad this year?
Yes.
And they'll have an event in October.
Yeah.
We don't know.
We're speculating, but I think they have to. They absolutely have to.
And will any of
and
the
this
features...
is what I predicted. I
You
said
predicted
they
this.
won't bundle them together because
No,
they're too big products. Why not stretch the whole thing out? Why not make this an interesting fall?
Right.
Which is what they did last year.
Yeah. I think you're right. You mentioned in the open that maybe a fingerprint sensor, you think, in the iPad?
So this is...
Is there a rumor to that effect?
No, there isn't. However, I think that one of the big things about the fingerprint sensor is not only is it about security, right? Because it's supposed to be able to read your thumb or another finger that you designate rather than having to rely on a passcode. But it helps with, God, I love their little slow-mo videos that they do. But it helps with impulse buying, I think, in the App Store.
It makes it easier.
Makes it easier. There's just like that much less of a reason to say, I have to enter.
I am really tempted to buy it just because I'm so sick of entering my password.
Hate it.
I just want to press the button.
I do.
And it's literally a one-click purchase.
I think that if you have it in the new iPhone, there's just no reason not to add that technology to the next flagship iPad. Perhaps the Mini wouldn't have it because it's a little bit. It's sort of the 5C of iPads already, and smaller, so there's more differences there. But I don't know why you would have something like that on the iPhone and not the iPad, since it's supposed to be such a stellar, well-made, expensive product.
They certainly could do it. There's no rumor to that effect, and I think there would be by now.
Yeah.
And I think that this is kind of typical of Apple, that just like Siri, they wanted to roll it out a little bit slow to make sure they could handle the traffic, that it worked well.
True.
That there were, they're putting it out now. 100 million people will, in the next year, buy a fingerprint reader phone. That'll give them a chance to work out all the bugs. And then next October, I bet you they do it, but it'll be next year, not this year.
You think
that'd be my prediction.
This would be doubling down a little
Typical
too
of Apple to kind of, they move more slowly than you and I might like, but
on hardware, certainly.
Yeah.
With software, you can kind of say, roll out an update. But that's true. If they don't do it next month, it's probably a year away.
Right.
I want it to be next month, though, because I like them. I like my iPhone and my iPad to be as close as possible as far as specs goes. What about iLife being free?
That's nice.
That's
now,
fun.
That's what they do on the Mac. If you buy a new Mac, you get the iLife suite for free. Now they're extending that to the phone. If you buy a new phone or a new iPad. Did they say that?
They did. Here's my question for you.
And by the way, what you get is Keynote, the presentation manager, Pages, the word processor, Numbers, the spreadsheet. You also get the $5, but I think very much worth it, iPhoto and iMovie as well.
Right.
So that's a nice suite of 5 apps. No GarageBand in there, and Chris Breen suspected, and I think he's right when we were doing the event, that it was because of licenses, that there are loops in there, and that those loops have to be licensed from various companies. They can't give that away for free.
Here's my question: How does Apple say, oh, you have a new device running iOS 7. Here, have all our suite of Apple-made apps for free.
They don't.
So
it's just like with a Mac. You have to buy a new device, and it'll be on the device.
So it'll be preloaded, and then you can delete them if possible? Because that's not what Tim Cook said.
Actually, on the Mac...
Tim Cook said you will be able to download these for free.
On the Mac, come to think of it, I'm pretty sure when you get a new Mac now, it does not have the iLife apps, but when you go to the App Store, it says you have it actually gives you a special banner that says you have
to your
these.
User ID?
Yeah, and you can download them. Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
So I guess they'll do the same thing. And there's good reason for that. If you don't want those apps, they're big. Why waste a lot of space on your system?
I see. When you're activating your device, say some folks in the chat room, it'll just be something where it says, oh, would you like to download these wonderful apps?
Right.
New device owner.
Yeah, they already do that on the Mac, as I remember. So that makes sense.
Well, that's...
Why take up space,
That's great. It really only ends up being, if you add all the apps together, it's like $40. But I think it's still a really nice gesture because people will be that much more likely to open up Numbers for the first time and say, oh, this is so much better than, I don't know.
Stewie says it'll be
whatever
a
other
splash
spreadsheet I'm using.
Screen on the first boot.
Nice. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Would you like to get these apps now? That makes a lot of sense.
Speaking of iOS 7, iOS 7 is coming to the iPad at the same time as the iPhone, despite rumors of the iPad
and soon, too.
Development lagging behind.
6 days from now.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to download it on everything.
I would caution perhaps a little patience.
Well, that
is a big change.
Not my virtue.
It's not your virtue. No. It's not mine either. And I put it on my iPhone 5.
I haven't even added iOS 7, any of the dev builds to my iPhone.
No, I didn't either. But now that the Gold Master's out, I got a copy from a friend of 7 and put it on my iPhone 5 last night. I hate it.
You do?
I hate it.
You hate the color scheme?
I hate the color scheme. You can make that better by changing the wallpaper, obviously.
Right.
I don't mind the flat look. I do think the flat look is the future. Google's already doing it. Everybody's doing it. Yeah. It's fine. Comes from Windows Metro, and I think it's a good look. It is kind of modern style. But what I really don't like the color scheme, and what I was surprised, because I hadn't used it before, there's a lot of swoop, zip, whoop. I was getting a little nauseous. I know, this seems...
You weren't.
I was. My stomach went, whoa. You will see. So I would caution you.
No, I've seen what you're talking about.
But I mean, until you're using it, and maybe it won't be as bad on an iPad. I think it will be, but maybe not. On the phone, it was too much. It was too much.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Again,
yes.
I have not used it on a daily basis, so I can't say I won't feel the same way.
My counsel to all of you is, A, it'll break some things, right? You should know that.
Yeah.
So I would say September 18th comes along. They say you have an update. Don't. Wait. If you can, get your friend to do it. Play with her iPad. Make sure all the apps you want will work fine. It wouldn't be bad to wait to version 1. Yeah, you get a great new compass.
Hey now.
Hey now.
Hey now, you're a rock star.
The thing to remember is
iOS 7 is going to make things feel fresh.
I hate it. I'm so mad at them.
You're so mad.
The calendar looks different but works the same, and that's true of most things. You're not going to lose capabilities in most cases.
Sure.
They didn't fix the thing that to me is a glaring flaw in iOS. The stupid keyboard. The key is all uppercase, even if you're uppercase or lowercase. It drives me nuts.
See, I prefer that.
Why? It's not a typewriter.
It's uniform, and it is. That's exactly what it's a virtual typewriter. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like.
They did not do anything to the keyboard. It's the same, as far as I can tell, the same keyboard.
The keyboard is the last thing I have a problem with.
I hate the keyboard. It's too small.
The autocorrect could use a little something, as in knowing the kind of words that I like to type after all of these years.
Now, some people say give it 3 days, you'll get used to it. You won't erp up every time it goes, woo! It really is in your face. When you open an app, woo! I just think it's the equivalent of modern skeuomorphism. All right, yeah, we got rid of the stitching. Now you've got this time machine style all the time. Woo! And I don't want to be in a freaking spaceship.
Well, we're going to be. We're going to be in a spaceship. You will... perhaps for your own good, be on vacation next week. But when I'm back on this show, I'm going to be running iOS 7 on this iPad. We're going flying through space.
All right, I'm going to hold off.
With bright, flat colors.
I may have to hold off forever, you understand, because they're not going to change that part of it. It's going to be that way forever. Yeah, I hate the color palette, too. It's just horrible.
But now it makes sense why the new iPhone 5Cs are the colors that they are.
Yeah.
Because they match.
Johnny Ive apparently likes horrendously bright colors.
Well, it is just, you know,
it's like somebody who only
I really do like
with
that yellow
sriracha
one.
on it. It's like somebody who had their palette design palette has gotten so munged up that they can only see stuff if it's bright colors.
What's the big deal with sriracha anyway? It's not that good.
But there are people who they put it on everything, and this to me is the equivalent of sriracha for the eyes.
I love that yellow. I really do. I would buy that.
Well, good. Get a Lumia phone. They've had that for years. Oh, stop. Go back. Go back.
Okay.
See the dot where it says Hun?
Yeah.
Steve Jobs is rolling in his grave.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs is rolling in his grave. The iPhone printing on the iPhone
that is weird,
comes through the holes in the case, but it doesn't say iPhone, it says Hun.
Why didn't they just...
Or Non.
Why didn't they just not have the dots right in the
Steve Jobs
so that
would never have let that happen. Am I wrong?
I don't think you can say things like that.
I can.
No, you become one of those people who say things like, that deceased person never would have made this decision, and how can you argue with me?
I know. No, I know. And I hate it when people say, oh, Steve would never have let that happen. But that's one, you got it. With his attention to detail.
Seem a little like, what? That's not.
He would have said, oh, yeah, we can't have that. You got to make it.
Isn't Johnny Ive supposed to be sort of that detail-oriented designer as well? Hun?
Hun?
Hey, Hun.
What
Maybe they're trying to bring
that?
back Hun.
And it looks like Crocs.
Looks like Connect 4.
I don't get
I
it.
said that earlier, and I got all of these hate tweets of people saying, "What's so wrong with Connect 4?"
I love Connect 4,
said
but I don't
nothing.
want my phone case to look like it.
I just made
But
a
this is-
statement. I didn't say I hated it.
I'm not the audience for this. By the way, why would you get a pink phone with a pink case?
It actually doesn't look like Hun. It looks like Non.
Non. Why would you get that combination? Why? Tell me why.
I don't know.
No, don't want it.
Maybe because you...
Yellow phone with a yellow, because you like the yellow so much. Why don't you get a case in it?
Why don't you just marry your Nokia phone if you like it so much? Why don't you just be wedded to it?
All right.
All right.
Anyway, I feel as if Apple might have taken a design wrong turn here.
Well, they're going out on a limb. Let's
Yeah.
give them that. Things are different. Although you still have all the people saying, well, they didn't announce anything new. It's like, well, actually, no, they didn't.
The
They announced
fingerprint
quite
reader's
a lot of
huge.
new stuff.
It's also, and this is we should talk about this, and I hope that this does migrate to the iPad. They put this new, very fast processor in. Contrary to rumors, Apple's saying, and I don't think Apple makes this stuff up, it's twice as fast as the old A6 processor, this new A7. It also is 64-bit, and they took great pride in the fact that this is the first 64-bit processor in a phone. Guarantee you it's destined for the next iPad, and I'll tell you why. The only real values, there's a couple of benefits to 64-bit, but the biggest one is addressing more than 4 gigs of RAM. And you're not going to put that much in a phone, but you may well put that much in an iPad.
Right.
So I would guess that we'll see a 64-gig processor. The other thing they did, which is very interesting, is this M7 extra chip. Now,
And they call it like a co-processor.
Co-processor. I don't know if I could see this in the iPad because it's really designed to work with things like the Nike Fuel Band or make your iPhone into a Nike Fuel Band by watching what you're doing without draining the battery. It's it kind of sits off to the side. Those actually, you got to say, those are innovations. That's something new.
You know, is it M7? Is that what they call it? I feel when they first announced that and they said, oh, you know, it's an accelerometer and a gyroscope and what was the third thing?
It's a humidity. You put it in your armpit, it'll tell you.
No, it's a...
it actually has a spirit level.
Compass, I guess.
Yeah,
compass,
but it's got a spirit level, you know. That's another feature of the compass that you'll never use. But if you want to hang a picture and make it straight, you put your iPhone on the top in the spirit level mode, and it's really a nice... It's actually a very nice
You're about to
spirit level.
move houses, and you're going
I
to
might need that.
That is one of those things that I am always trying to dig out of my tool kit.
And by the way, that's not specific to the phone. You'll get that on the old iPhone, and I presume on the iPad as well.
Yeah, but I feel like when they first started to roll that out, you know, we were all sort of like, okay, that's cool. The new processor, everything sounds cool, but this is the first step into, I think, into Apple's future of wearables.
Right.
Because now they have all these people buying these iPhones, and they get all this data on what works and doesn't work.
That's right.
And so it's like a little built-in test bed, which leads me to believe that we're not going to see an iWatch this year. Because because they want to sit on this for a while.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, this is doing kind of the things an iWatch might do.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But just a little bit more fully featured.
It's not, I wouldn't say it's earth-shattering, but it's definitely an innovation, and the thing to watch closely is how this fingerprint reader, how well it works. If Apple continues to, they're putting their money where their thumb is, literally, by saying, we're going to let you use it to buy stuff. That means Apple trusts it enough that they're going to let you buy stuff in the App Store. The next thing to watch carefully is if they publish what they call an API that allows other apps to use that thumbprint reader.
Because at least at the beginning, they will not allow that.
Only Apple can use it. But if at some point third parties can use it, that's a breakthrough. Now, encryption, your passbook suddenly, you could validate, you know, airplane tickets, everything. This could
Candy
be
Crush,
huge.
in-app purchases.
Huge. Yeah.
Whoops, that was a mistake.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point. You can do it at the App Store, but you can't do it in-app. You still have to, we'll still have to enter your password in Candy Crush.
Right, right.
Which is fine with me, because if anything that slows people down with Candy Crush is fine.
Oh, Candy Crush. I had to stop playing it because I'm like, this is addictive and dangerous.
Oh, it's bad. It's like Simpsons Tapped Out. I thank God that crashed. I mean,
right. Too much money. Too much money being spent.
$300 down the tubes.
Oh,
no love from Electronic Arts.
You
None.
spent more than that.
No. I got 3 truckloads of donuts.
Oh, okay.
And I still have a half truckload left. You owe me, EA.
I'm thinking of
a half truckload.
We Rule, maybe. That was a lot of
We
money.
Rule, yeah. No, that wasn't freemium, was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. You could buy stuff.
You had a We Rule issue for for a while.
I am an addictive personality.
Well, that's all right. So am I.
It's only a matter of time before the next one comes along.
Yeah. Well, perhaps my app cap later in the show might be it. I don't want to presume.
I was addicted to that 20 years ago.
So was I, and it's back.
And it's back.
In a bad, bad
that
way.
scares me.
My iPad ran out of batteries last night playing this game.
Oh no.
That's never even happened to me before.
Well, maybe
I was at 10% and I was like,
get this.
I'm not stopping until this iPad goes to sleep.
Oh, save it, save it, save it.
Anyway.
Save it for your funny hat.
I will. Before we move on, let's just talk a little bit about the better camera in the iPhone that I hope and pray is coming to the iPad.
Not more megapixels, but bigger pixels. That's very big.
Bigger pixels, a larger sensor, and at least on the iPhone.
5 elements, f2.2, which means it's faster. Yeah, do you know, I mean, we never see these in the iPad. The iPad, they don't bother. They say, oh, you're never going to take a picture with your iPad. Wrong.
Well, f2.2 refers to the aperture size.
Yeah, and that's the smaller the number, the more light gets let into the lens, the better it does in low light environments.
Correct. So this would help with something, they call it telephoto. It's, you know, your subject is in focus,
I know what you're talking
and
about.
The depth of field
yeah,
is
the
less.
bokeh, yeah. I don't know how much depth of field you're going to get, and the reason is, even if you have a bigger aperture, which you do on this, because your sensor is still relatively very small, you don't usually get a lot of depth of field, although that squirrel at Half Dome really was big.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. But if you notice, if you look at that squirrel picture, and it's easy to find because a lot of people you know, picked up on it, the squirrel was, of course, in perfect focus. Half Dome was not exactly blurry. It wasn't. There wasn't the depth of field was still pretty deep.
My iPhone 5 now, depending on what I decide to focus on, will blur out stuff that's far away.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, certain pictures have different results than others. A little bit.
Not as much as a full frame, you know.
This would add a little something. A little
there's a good example. It's a little bit.
That's a nice picture.
Yeah.
But
it's a nice picture.
That's a nice, look at that jellyfish.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Nice picture.
Look at those kids. Oh, wonderful.
There's no denying it. iPhone is arguably the best camera phone out there, and they've done a lot, I think, to improve it. I'm actually glad they didn't go to 13 megapixels. I think it was smart to increase the sensor size but not increase the pixels.
We talk about how it seems very silly to take pictures with your iPad. Nobody likes it when you do it at a concert or something like that. But there is a camera. I take pictures with my iPad. If that's what I'm holding and I need to take a picture, I'm totally fine with that.
You're that guy, huh?
I'm that guy. 2 thumbs. But I also find that it's nicer to have this stuff natively. I know with PhotoStream you get copies of what you shoot on your iPhone if you're using the same iCloud account. But if I'm shooting videos or photos, then you can just import it into iMovie or iPhoto on the iPad, and that's just a lot more fun using the photo editing tools and video editing tools with the bigger screen. I feel like, especially with the new feature that allows you to shoot slow-mo,
I think that's exciting.
720p.
I hope we see that on the iPad.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It just, I feel like that just makes more
hardware.
sense because this is a photo editing and video crunching device.
And you know how, I'm thrilled they're giving away iPhoto. You know how much I love iPhoto. I think that is a great app, and everybody who has an iPad should spend the it's worth $5 to get it, and good news, you'll get it for free when you get your new iPad. But that's a good example where you have these great photo tools on the iPad because of the big screen. Let's get a good camera on that.
Exactly.
Put the iPhone 5 camera in there. Acknowledge what people are doing.
Do it now, or we'll hate you forever.
Look, there's the giant squirrel.
He's so big.
It's majestic. Squirrel and Half Dome.
Oh,
but you see, Half Dome is not, it's blurry, but not, you know, you can make it out.
I love that little squirrel. You should name him Ned, maybe. Ned the squirrel.
Okay.
Okay? Cool.
Right, I'll go with that.
That's settled. Hey, for all of the links
Ned
to
Stark?
not Ned Stark, just Ned the squirrel.
Okay. Ned
I'll
the
name it
squirrel.
after a dead guy. Oops.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He didn't die.
Nope,
The
I
actor
was
died.
kidding.
Sean
See
Bean
what
is
I
dead.
did there? Sean Bean, the actor.
Yeah.
Who was beheaded.
That's what happened. So don't think we're talking about the TV show.
Just don't listen to us. We're just trying to throw you off your trail.
That's right.
some of the links to some of the features that we just mentioned, certainly in the new iPhone. That's a done deal. The iPad is all just stuff we're hoping will be added to the new iPad if we get an iPad announcement next month, which I really hope we do. Go to our website, twit.tv/IPT. That is where you can look at our past episodes and study them, really study them for quality.
Maybe make hair suggestions for Sarah.
Look at that screenshot.
Wow, there's the spit take
That's
in all its glory.
That's our editor, Jeff Stewart, at work.
That's a lovely shot.
It's a good
That's
one.
a thumbnail to remember.
It's a really good one. Other shows like that exist. Twitch.tv/IPT. Reminder to everybody who may not be watching us live but would like to. We record the show on Thursdays, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Had to think about that.
Ned is nerd without an R. Where are the R? Ned.
And der is
It's nerd without the N.
nerd without the N. Yeah, took me a minute.
Der.
Erd.
Der.
Erd.
Derp.
Derp. Derp. Derp.
Our show today brought to you by our friends at Citrix. They make the great go-to-meeting. We don't have meetings here at the Brickhouse studio with clients, with colleagues without go-to-meeting because you can share screens if you want to, flip on a camera and you can see each other in crystal clear HD video face-to-face. I have mixed feelings about meetings. On the one hand, you don't want to waste time in a meeting, right? But meetings are often the fastest way. If you've got Lisa's got a philosophy. More than 3 emails, we're going to have a meeting because it cuts through the bureaucracy. You can go back and forth in email 20 times, never get anything resolved.
So
Sit
annoying.
down in 5 minutes, boom, you got it all figured out.
Yeah.
You can share ideas, you can solve problems, cut the Gordian knot of business, just like Fruit Ninja. It's a great way to do creative solutions. But if your team is spread out, that can be hard to have meetings. That's where GoToMeeting with HD Faces from Citrix is awesome. The powerfully simple way to meet and collaborate online. I know teams that keep GoToMeeting running all day. That's where that one low flat monthly rate really makes a difference. No matter where you're located, no matter where your colleagues or clients are located, GoToMeeting lets you share the same screen, which means you're on the same page, and see each other eye to eye with HD Faces. You can even present from your iPad. You can attend meetings, of course, but you can also present at a meeting with your iPad. It uses your iPad's camera, microphone, headphones. Try GoToMeeting free for 30 days. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button. Use the promo code IPAD. GoToMeeting. Meeting is believing. I believe in.
So, I've been playing around with a new browser.
I heard about this, and I'm thrilled that you downloaded it because I keep meaning to, and I haven't. Opera has come up with something for the iPad.
Yeah, it's called Coast, and it's really, I don't even know how I describe it, really. It's a very interesting, reimagined browser. The Opera folks are, I have to say, you got to give them kudos for coming out with stuff that doesn't seem like everything else. What's interesting about Coast is that, and I'm not exactly sure what Coast is supposed to be about. You're coasting along the internet.
Well, when you go down the coast, you'll find Mavericks.
Well, but I doubt Opera is making that reference. Doesn't really seem like they're, they're.
I have mixed feelings about other browsers. Safari is integrated so tightly into the iPad. I just use Safari. It's the one, no matter what, when you click a link, you're going to get Safari. So tell me, I installed Chrome.
Okay.
I installed
How's it different?
Skyfire. I installed all these other third-party
Right.
browsers,
All
but I end
the
up
good
using
stuff.
Safari. So why would I use Coast? What's new in Coast? What makes it compelling?
Well, it's definitely different. So the way that Chrome and Safari are very similar, they have different functionality, but in general, they look like desktop browsers, but they're on the iPad. The Coast browser is much more simplified. Okay, so for example, let's just go back to my little home screen. When you download Coast for the first time, you have these.
That's kind of pretty.
Yeah, it's almost like a tile-based.
Those are thumbnails. Yeah, it does look like Metro. You're right.
It does.
There's a
And
search
so-
bar at the top.
And some of these come preloaded. Yeah, you've got a
Okay.
search bar at the top, but then you could, I don't know, say
Very
here
Metro.
are all of my news destinations, or here are the blogs that I like to read, or this is my navigation area, and so on. All right, so well that's all fine. Then I've got, so this is kind of your home screen. So you search an address, you say Google, I know that's already there.
Oh, it's nice. It pops up a thumbnail
it
right
tries
away.
to understand which one you want.
Yeah.
You go to Google, you're at Google, fine. You want to get out of there?
What's the thing at the top there? View.
Oh, because it's telling me. Do you want to download the app?
Oh,
There's a Google
Google's
app.
doing that. So that's not Coast that's doing that.
No,
All right.
no, that's just general stuff. Yeah. All right, so, and then there's no sort of like get out or home or anything. There's just that guy. Now you can
What did you do? You hit the home button?
Yeah, it looks like the little, it's sort of a little square for it.
Oh, it's on
basically a
screen.
home button.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I open up Reddit, you see that down here.
Ah, there it is. I got it.
So I say, okay, I'm done with Reddit.
That's very Metro, yeah.
Yeah. Now you can see.
What's this thing in the? What is? It's rubber banded.
This guy, because these
still
are
there. Those
the
are tabs.
open tabs. So if I say I'd like to look at my tab interface, now you can see Reddit was the last thing I opened.
And you
then
got
I
a
got
cover
Google.
flow kind of thing
I
going
looked
there.
at Twitter. I opened Twit earlier because I wanted to see how it rendered. There's Jeff Jarvis snarling at me. That's what I like to see.
That's scary.
I mean, I'd watch that.
That's scary.
Right? And you also have, aren't you supposed to be able to?
Oh.
Yeah, so you've got.
Oh, you've thrown it in your little pocket.
Yeah, it's got some kind of neat gesture stuff. So I can break stuff out, say,
That's
oh
pretty.
yeah, I want to go back to Google.
That's kind of pretty.
So in a way, I think this is a little, it's sort of, I feel like this suffers from all of the other browsers, mobile browsers that kind of try to do something different, and we all say, that's cool.
Yeah, it's eye candy.
But then we go back to the browser that we know and love.
Right. Because what is it giving me that's new and different? Is it a great browser? Is it a super fast browser? Are they?
It's fun to navigate. So
I
let's
love
go.
the UI.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
can
I'm
say,
not
like,
a grump.
yeah,
I can use new UIs.
You know what we have to do? We have to get rid of our round corners. Everybody else is going square. Yeah, no.
Oh boy.
One more thing to think about.
Oh boy.
But I just wonder, is this going to be my browser of choice, especially because you can't click links from within the rest of the iPad experience and have it natively open in Coast.
You have to open it.
That
yourself.
sucks.
Yeah.
You can't do that with Chrome either. Although with Mailbox, the app, now you can open links and say, I want it to open in Chrome.
Apparently Google has updated most of the Google apps to open Chrome
Yes.
as well.
Yes. But this isn't
I
a
don't
Google
like that
app,
because I don't know
nor
what
is it an-
behavior I'm going to get. What am I going to get? So I want it to open the same browser.
You can only go so far. So
Yeah.
you have to just either be a huge Opera fan and want to support them, or just really love this interface and say, every once in a while I'm going to have to open Safari and copy and paste over and then continue in Coast. But it is a nice app. It's completely free.
You know what's funny is people love Opera. There's Opera fanatics out there. But it's never been the best, in my opinion, best looking browser. It's always had interesting UI stuff. But this time they've got a good looking browser. That really is pretty.
It's nice.
I love the UI. I love the tile flip, the little pocket that you stick tabs in. That's nicely done.
Have you checked out the new OneNote for iPad?
I heard about it, but I haven't checked it out.
So I
don't really use it. I should because Paul Thurrott wants me to, so let me try it. Yeah.
And the new update has untethered it from OneNote, which of course is PC-based. So it's a little bit more of Microsoft saying, yeah, we understand that this might be the only thing that you use on the iPad, and you don't have to rely on having OneNote on some other computer somewhere.
This is Microsoft's little camel's nose into the tent for the rest of Microsoft Office.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
People say that?
Yeah.
Camel's nose into the tent?
Yeah, like it's just the beginning.
Is it like dip one toe in the water?
Right. Don't let a camel, if you let the camel put his nose under your
Then
tent,
he'll drink the whole
he'll
lake.
be in your tent
I
before
see.
you know it.
Oh, well, he wants to, it's raining.
So if, I've been told by Bedouins, if a camel puts its nose in your tent, you whack it and you say, get out of here.
Aww.
Well, you don't, believe me, trust me.
It'll spit at you is what it'll
You do
do.
not want a camel in your tent.
Okay.
Oh, I have to log in with my Microsoft account. It's using
life is so
third part.
hard.
Oh, I turned on second factor authentication, so I have to go get my
yeah.
phone. Then I turned on second factor authentication on my phone, so then I have to get my YubiKey. It's just too much trouble.
It's too much trouble, but you are secure from yourself.
I am mostly, a thief
Can't
isn't
get
going to
into
have
that
any
app.
trouble.
I am too secure.
It's about 80 steps to get this to work. I first have to log into the phone, then
Well, I tried to do the same thing earlier where I was like, oh, this is going to be so fun. I'll just go ahead and sign in, and I tell you, I have an Outlook account. I know that I do. We talked about it on TNT when it was new, and for whatever reason, it doesn't know me now. I don't know what happens. Screw you. OneNote. Anyway, if you for whatever reason had not been a OneNote user because you found it limiting, it was a little bit too much of the Microsoft interface for you. It's a lovely standalone
it's
product.
part one of Office coming to the iPad.
That's right. You know what? That's a perfect way to think
beginning.
of it.
It's the camel's nose.
It's a Google Docs competitor that is going to be more fully featured eventually. Right. And this, you can log in with, like, if you have a SkyDrive account, if you have an Outlook account, a Hotmail address. I mean, all of that stuff should, in essence, work. For whatever reason, none of mine do. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah. I've got problems.
You got to log into Outlook.com and tell Microsoft all this stuff.
I did.
You did? You did it all recently?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I spent an hour earlier trying to figure out.
Oh, well, that's no fun.
And then I said, fine, just send me, reset my password. And it said, this isn't even an account on
I guess
Outlook.
I should try it.
So that sucks. I guess I can't use Outlook anymore.
They made you, you probably don't use it enough. They deactivated you.
The new Outlook didn't even roll out that long ago.
I know.
That shouldn't be the case.
That shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to look up my password. I'm going to enter it in.
Leave me alone.
You keep talking while
you're doing that, I'm going to show us the new version of Reader for the iPad. Reader 2.
Read, R-E-E-D-E-R.
Yes, R-E-E-D-E-R. Reader 2 is actually one of those apps, it's not the only one, that has been reimagined, but you have to buy it again. It has gone universal.
Oh.
Reader used to be an iPhone app and then an iPad app. They were two different apps.
Oh.
The iPhone app was more fully functioning, more fully featured. It came first. But they were both very nice. Leo and I have both always said when we talk about RSS apps, oh, Reader is so nice looking.
Yeah.
But it didn't really function the same way that the iPhone app did, and that was slightly frustrating for those of us who liked both of the apps on both devices. Now they act exactly the same, but you do have to buy it again. So if you're a huge supporter of Reader, this is a no-brainer. But if there's another RSS reader that you like, Feedly or the Dig Reader, you don't necessarily need this, so you take that into consideration. But now that I've gone ahead and hooked up my main account that I use for my RSS to Reader, I really do like it. This is a very nice app. Here are my accounts. If I had multiple accounts, I could add them here. I really just have the one. Here are all of my categories of the stuff that I'm reading on a regular basis. If I I went too far here. So yeah, you can change your views, but in general I kind of like to see my headline view and then the article view. So let's say a photographer's take on the iPhone 5 camera. Well, that's interesting. That's definitely something that I would want to read because that's one of the things I like most about my iPhone. I'm going ahead and looking in it here. Then you've got some options. It's like, well, you want to make the text bigger, you can do so. That's easy. Or decrease the line size, title size. You can align your text in the middle. I hate that. I would never want that. So I went ahead and left aligned it. Let's make this text a little smaller. You can grayscale images, by the way, if for whatever reason you've got a really slow connection and you want your images not to be stripped out, but you don't want them to.
Oh, that's nice. So it's a little lower bandwidth. You still get to see it, though.
Yeah, exactly. You, of course, can mark as read, you can favorite, you can archive, you can go to the next story very easily. I actually talked about this story on TNT this morning. Intel's Genevieve Bell thinks that technology is going to be more and more of our friend, something that we rely on.
What does that mean?
Well, it means that we're going to start thinking of technology as something that can predict what we want.
A little plastic buddy?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on that does just that, Google Now, for example. But the best part, I think, of Reader is when you want to go ahead and send an article off somewhere, you have a million choices, not quite a million, but quite a few. You can copy the link, you can send it to Safari or Chrome. That's nice. If you're a Chrome browser user, you can open something from within Reader this way. All sorts of stuff. The pinboards, the Evernotes, the readability, the Instapapers, it's all pretty much there. Or of course, you can just go ahead and say, just open in Reader's little inline browser there.
That's nice. So I don't want to have to exit out.
No. Yeah, it's all gesture-based, and of course, this is something that we've all gotten really used to with the new email apps. But Reader also did this before, where you can go ahead and say, yeah, let's mark it as read. or mark it as unread again. You can favorite something, you can unfavorite. That's all from there. And if you're in your view and you want to change your oops. I'm still getting used to these gestures here. Your view, you can say, well, I only want to read stuff that I starred because it was stuff I wanted to come back to, or just the unread stuff, or maybe everything. So it's a really lovely, lovely RSS reader. Yet one more option that you now have.
Now, obviously, in the early days, it was tied into your Google Reader account.
Now you pull, so when I set this up.
You create your own feeds.
Exactly. When I set this up, well, let's just go ahead and look. We'll sign up for another account. Hey.
No, that's all right. I believe you.
Well, no, I just want to show people what they have, what their options are.
They give you some choices.
You can pull from Feedbin or Feedly or Feed Wrangler or Fever.
So if you, oh, well, you know what? Some of those support the Google Reader.
Feedly is one of them.
Feedly. So if you imported your Google Reader into Feedly, now you've got it, and you can just.
It's as if nothing ever changed.
Yeah, use that for the back
end. It's just pulling from my Feedly reader. Good. Yeah, it's good stuff. So $5. It's a lovely RSS reader. It might be the one for you.
But if you had it before, you got to buy it again.
You got to buy it again. No freebies.
That's Apple's fault because they don't allow upgrades. You have to do it that way.
Well,
I guess they could.
You can upgrade. You can upgrade for free. It's just
you can't do paid upgrades though.
Well, that's exactly what this is.
Right.
A paid upgrade.
So you have to do a separate app, is what I'm saying.
Oh, no. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Apple's fault.
Well, hold on, though. Hold on, though.
No, if otherwise, you could say, well, give us $5.
Yeah, see, okay, so look.
So now you have two readers. You have Reader 1 and Reader 2.
I have my old reader and then my new reader. And so, yes.
Yeah, the new reader is the one with the flat star icon.
You're right, yes. If something's paid for, then it has to be some new app. Hey, I mentioned in last week's show that I hated searching for things on the Apple TV because you got to like input, like, we were talking about Sherlock because I was in Google Plus and I was like, S-H-E, Gallifrey Rebel, AKA Steven, Gallifrey Rebel in chat, who is one of our regulars, says, don't forget the Apple Remote app. So that when you turn on home sharing
does make it easier.
Between your Apple TV and either your iPhone or your iPad, remote works just fine. What you do...
This is the app they never updated until they did.
Yeah, exactly.
It went for years without an update.
Yeah, if you turn on home sharing, and there's no point in doing it here because we don't have an Apple TV set up.
Actually, we do.
But is it on right now?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably not.
Probably not.
Also, that Apple TV is not logged into the same
account,
user account that my iPad is.
You still have to type, but you can type using the keyboard on the...
Way better.
Way better.
Because you can't type on your TV.
Yeah,
that's
much
the problem.
Better. Yeah.
That, and he also says, you were saying you were looking for the series Sherlock. Guess what? Both the seasons are streaming on Netflix right now.
That's right.
And I started watching it.
There are 3 seasons. Isn't it good?
Yeah.
Don't you
Only
love
the first
him?
2.
Right.
Well, and when you say seasons, they call them the 2 series.
Yeah, because they're short. They're 6 episodes or something, yeah.
They're 3.
3? That's right, 3 and 3.
Each.
Yeah, that's right.
But they're quite long. They're an hour and a half each.
So wonderful. Yeah, each is a
I
little
watched
movie.
the first one yesterday, and now I see what you're saying. It's so fun.
Oh, it's the best.
It's really, really.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
Really great show. I just wanted to pass that
Cumberbatch.
along for those of you who watch Netflix on your iPads. Give it a go. He's a funny-looking guy.
Benedict Cumberbatch. He has the best name in show business, and he's a perfect Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, he is. It's tons of fun. Murder mysteries.
Hot news just coming in as we speak.
Oh?
Twitter has, as expected, announced its IPO.
Oh, really?
And they're going to file
happened,
for it. Yep, they've submitted plans to the SEC, the Security and the Exchange Committee, and that's all we know so far. They were saying in the speculation that Twitter might be worth $7 billion. That's crazy talk.
I know some people who are about to get very rich.
Oh, some people invested in Twitter in the early stages.
Correct. Not me, because I don't know how to...
How much stock does Kevin have?
Oh, I don't know anything about that. Google Ventures might have some Twitter stuff.
No, I know Kevin was an early Twitter investor.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't pay attention to him.
I hate that. I just hate it.
Just,
if I had married him, I would be living in luxury
Oh,
now.
Don't even get started with me about that. Don't even get started. You know what? Life isn't all about money and stock.
Do you think their stock symbol... We're both crying. Their stock symbol will be twit, because if it is, I'm going to kill somebody.
Oh.
Better not be.
If it is, we should I don't know.
And by the way,
Start a.
it can't be TWT either because that's my ham sign.
Well, I feel like you need to make sure that we've
It's
been
trademarked.
heard.
It's trademarked.
Oh, all right.
Doesn't matter. They're rich now. They're billionaires. They don't care.
Oh, it's fine. They've made a product that's a delight for us to use. What more could we possibly want? I know.
They're getting rich on my back.
Just sick. Just sick. Let's talk about something pretty like puppies and
Or Shutterstock. Or
pictures of puppies on
pictures of
Shutterstock.
puppies on
Yeah,
Shutterstock.
yeah.
We could do that.
All right.
I love what you were doing on the social hour.
Wasn't that fun?
It was hysterical. You had little cats and kittens eating out of the palm of your hand, all from Shutterstock Video.
Well, 'cause
because the video has Alpha Channel.
Right.
So you can make it with a TriCaster right on the screen. So that little doggy, he was licking your
You don't
face
even
and
need
everything.
a TriCaster.
No.
Yeah.
You don't?
No.
Oh, it's green screen.
Yeah,
Look
you
at
just,
that.
I mean, you need to understand how to superimpose that over another video.
That's very cool.
Oh, yeah, you can
Very
do it.
cool.
Very cool.
So we're talking about Shutterstock, which is the best place to go to get royalty-free photos, stock photos, illustrations, vector illustrations, video clips, clip art. All of it royalty-free, which means, you pay for it once and you can use it on your blog or whatever. You can search for nouns like cats, but you could do that more than that because they have a color wheel of spectrum tool which lets you choose only, orange cats. Type in cool cats because you're allowed to use adjectives as well. So I could say cool cats. There's Cool Kitty. Hello, my name is Cool Kitty. I am so laid back and excellent. How about that? Apparently all a cat needs to do to be cool is put shades on. That's pretty much all the cool cats have. Oh, wait a minute. He's cool, but he's got a thought bubble.
He says, I don't know what I'm thinking yet, but I guarantee you I will think
Hang
something.
in there, kitten.
Hang in there, man.
So many of these images.
I said puppies, but Brian knows what I like.
Yeah.
He went straight back to the cats.
As far as he's concerned, cats are puppies.
Sure.
If you love puppies, you'll love Shutterstock. Can you believe this? 26 million images, another 1.4 million videos. They add at least 10,000 images every day, so every time you visit, there'll be new and wonderful stuff. You could search in their search tool, as I said, with an amazing, that's a cool chihuahua. Hey, cool baby, that's good.
See, this is, it's so much fun, because you
Isn't
see
it?
these images where you're like, this is awesome. I just didn't even know that this existed in the world.
Can I tell you what I use it for? If I need inspiration for a blog post, I go over to Shutterstock.
Yeah,
and I just browse through images. The iPad app is actually a really good way to do that. Webby Award winning. It is like one of those great gallery apps. And what they do with the iPad app is it's curated. So life's a beach, step-by-step reflections, say cheeses. This is a great, for my mother, little mom action here. I guess it's kind of, Mother's Day is kind of, maybe they need to update that one. Eco chic, pastel perfect. Color is a big part of what they do too at Shutterstock with that spectrum tool. You can pick a color palette. Now, here's the deal. If you go to Shutterstock.com, you can create a free account, and I do recommend you do that. You don't need a credit card. But what it lets you do is use their Lightbox feature to gather images together, share them with a colleague via email. And if you do say, oh, that's a perfect image, I'm ready to use it, you can buy. They have a lot of different ways to go, including individual image packs. Or we have, for the Twit business, a lot of businesses do this, we have a subscription up to 25 images a day. That's really nice. And even nicer when you use our iPad Today code, you'll get 30% off. You gotta love that. iPad Today, the number 9, because we're in September. Did you know that they, if you ever do a Facebook ad, they just partnered with Facebook. So if you're a Facebook ad customer, you can use their ad creation tool, and they have Shutterstock images for free in there.
I love that.
You can use in your Facebook ad. It makes it really look good. I think it's a nice feature. Again, iPad Today 9, all one word. The 9 is a number. That'll get you 30% off at Shutterstock.com. We thank them for their support of iPad Today.
Got an email from Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
You rich guy, you.
You wealthy man, you, who says, he's kind of actually agreeing with something I said earlier in the show. He says, Apple's going to see a notable increase in app and iTunes media sales, mainly for anything $199 or less on devices that have that Touch ID sensor.
Yeah, it's like one-click buys on Amazon. It's just so easy to buy.
He says, sure, it's good for security, but I have to think that Apple put extra effort into making this work well, not only for us, but because they're very aware of impulse buying. I'm saying the following as a heavy iPad user. It has a nice large keyboard, but every time I consider purchasing an app, whether it's conscious or not, I sort of think about whether I want to bother entering my complex password. Yeah, I have the same, I have like uppercase and numbers and all sorts of good stuff. This is especially true if it's for leisure, and it becomes even more of a factor if I type it in wrong the first time. He says, I'm like, do I really want it that badly? And sometimes I do, and other times I just cancel and move on. So I think Kevin's got a point. I really do.
Yeah.
Apple says, we want you to have a complex password, but that should not hinder you from buying stuff so that we can pay out developers and tell them how much better our operating system is than that old Android.
You don't have to use you could turn the fingerprint reader off.
Correct.
In fact, I wonder if I haven't tried this, but I wonder if you could turn it off just for purchases and say, look, I want to do it to unlock the phone, but I don't want to do it for purchases.
Good question.
I bet you could. I bet you could. We'll see. We'll have to look at that.
Yeah, we'll have to look in the settings.
Yeah. We'll know on the 18th. That's when we're getting iOS 7. Well, actually, we won't know.
We won't know until you have an iPhone 5S.
You have to get an iPhone 5,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Got a little video from Chant. Hello, Chant, who has a question about iPads and over-the-air broadcast signals.
Hey Sarah and Leo, Shane Owen here from Connecticut. Being a recent cord cutter, I was wondering if you might be able to suggest options for receiving over-the-air TV signals from my local TV stations on my iPad and iPhone. I've come across companies such as Arrow and Dial, but they seem to be specific to larger markets and have very limited coverage. Love the show. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was On Film. Remember them? And they've got put out of business.
I don't even remember On Film. No, Dial, he's referring to a service that you can use with a product called iTV, like EYE TV.
Right.
Then there's Aereo, which is expanding in markets.
Yeah, but that again is very limited, as he said, in very limited markets. I've played with Aereo. Dr. Mom in our chat room has it. She's in Long Island, one of the markets.
Yeah.
It works on an iPad beautifully. You log into Aereo. You can watch your broadcast television on your iPad, and they'll even DVR it for you and stuff. And Aereo has been winning court cases, but it's thought, or observers have thought perhaps that Film On's loss in court could mean bad things ahead for Aereo, because the network sued Film On because they were just doing the same thing. So really, the truth is the best way to do this is just get a Slingbox. That way you have it online. You can run the Slingbox app. And it's whatever you can. Oh, he says he's a cord cutter, though, see? So, oh, I know what you do. You know, some people actually do this. They put a Slingbox in their friend's house. You say, would you mind if I put a Slingbox in your house and I can watch your TV?
Right, and you just don't even need to worry about it, what I'm doing?
It is not yet, in the networks, it'll be over their dead bodies, possible to watch broadcast television on an iPad.
Well, that's the thing is I feel like, I mean, I talk about OTA antennas. I have one at home. That's how I watched football all day Sunday. It's like, it doesn't cost me anything, and the HD signal is actually better than what gets pushed through the cable.
The best quality HD you can get.
It truly is. Yeah.
Over-the-air broadcast.
Over-the-air broadcast. I've got it hooked up to my speakers.
But you have to be in a metro. You're lucky. You live in the city. You can get that.
That's true. Now, Chant is saying he's in some part of Connecticut where Aereo is not covering it. Yeah. Dial TV, which is another service that would work with an iTV. When you type into Google something like iPad HD antenna, these two companies will pop up, but they're really not a solution that many people can use right now.
Get an Apple TV. He probably already has one. The good news is Apple is increasing the amount of live programming you can get on an Apple TV.
That's true.
Sky has some live stuff. Wall Street Journal.
It's not network stuff, though.
Well,
for a TV, you're in luck, but you can't just shove a HD antenna into an iPad. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. The iPad isn't set up to accept those kinds of transmissions.
Right. So.
I wonder if they ever will be. I just.
No. They're never going to put a TV antenna on an iPad. That's crazy talk.
I know.
No. But Apple TV will probably get more and more live streaming stuff. I think Apple's rolling it out slowly. But there's already a number of channels you can watch live content on. I imagine it's just a matter of time before the NFL puts, you can, if you're a Verizon customer, use the NFL app and watch NFL games live.
Yeah.
So that's how it's going to be. It's piecemeal.
Yeah.
You're not going to
Still
get Channel
$5 a
4.
month. That's not even free, even if
Or what? But no, but it's like $25 a season. It's not bad. And if you're a football fan, that's a great choice.
No, but it's not just like if you're a Verizon customer.
It's free if you're a Verizon customer.
No, it's not. It's
$5.
$5.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind.
To get access to the things like Monday Night Football and stuff.
So you're a Verizon iPhone person?
I am.
You're very lucky.
Well, thanks.
We're talking about the NFL mobile app, which actually, now that the season has started, it is a must-have app, but it's better on Verizon.
Absolutely love it.
Because they've done a deal which gives Verizon exclusive.
That's right. Yeah.
I thought that would end last season. Nope, they still do it. They
yeah.
still do
well,
it.
see, I'm still AT&T on my iPad though, so the place that I would rather watch the game
is your iPad.
Is my iPad.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch football on my iPhone unless I have to. I want to watch it on as big a screen as possible, really loud. Gotta love that.
You could throw it, can't you?
No.
You can't throw it out? It doesn't AirPlay?
It disables the video. It disables the video,
That's
even
terrible.
mirroring. It's very annoying. All right, got an email from somebody wonderful. Somebody wonderful, please don't hate me. Says, actually, I think that your name is Ryan, if I remember correctly, because you didn't want us to say what your last name was.
Oh, that Ryan.
That
okay.
Ryan. I think that was it.
Okay.
Says, I believe Apple Maps has gotten a bad rap. I've been using the app exclusively since launch, and I haven't had any issues. I understand there's some region-specific issues and bugs that may have been identified. So he just hasn't come across them, I guess. He says, however, any map system has problems. I think the media went on a witch hunt with this one. Here's some anecdotal evidence. I live in Southern California. I frequently take the I-805 freeway. Recently, the entire freeway was closed. There was some sort of issue. I was trying to figure out if the freeway had been reopened. I checked Apple Maps. I checked Google Maps. Google Maps said freeway was open. Apple Maps showed that it was still closed with bumper-to-bumper traffic. When I checked the freeway, sure enough, it was still closed. Apple Maps had gotten it right. That actually surprises me, since Google Maps is now pulling from Waze data, which is all about accidents on freeways.
Right.
And on roads.
Right.
I don't know.
I think it's an example of it. Sometimes one is better than the other.
Yeah.
But there are some horrible problems with Apple Maps. You've just been somewhat lucky.
You live in an area that...
Yeah, LA, and metros you tend to do better.
Yeah.
But there are some really bad things with Apple Maps. I'm not sure I would trust Apple Maps at this point.
Really? I feel like I don't use either Apple Maps or Google Maps all that much. But when I do, I've created a folder for myself that's just a Navi folder. So it's Apple Maps, Google Maps,
That's
Waze,
what I do. I have that
things.
folder, yeah.
And so there's really, it's
Motion
not
X
any
GPS.
easier for me to choose Apple Maps over Google. I know when it first gets loaded, when you upgrade it to iOS 6, it's right there on your homepage, but you can throw it in a folder. So then you just choose what you want. And I'm always choosing Google Maps because it's just my memory. I don't know.
All of the map apps have problems.
Sure.
And it's very easy to say, oh, here's a problem.
Yeah. I don't want to go that way.
I don't want to go that way. It's very easy to find problems in all mapping apps. These are all Apple Maps issues.
Yeah. Mordor! Let's do it.
This is, by the way, do not drive to 262 Wilmer Avenue in Washington, D.C., because you'll end up on an active runway. Probably not the best place.
I think you might get arrested
to go. Something's really wrong with Big Ben there. And the London Eye apparently has no spokes. That is an amazing engineering feat, isn't it?
That is weird.
But that doesn't, nobody's going to go off the road because of that. But it's just, this is a tumble log that has all sorts of, this is where I'm going, actually. Oh, no, that's Milan here. Yeah.
Now, we also have these sorts of things for Google Maps.
Well, that's my point. You can find problems like this on every map.
What is that?
That's a bridge that
is falling into a glacier? Neat.
Croatia is suddenly black and white. I'm actually going there. So I guess they ran out of color. Anyway, you can find problems with any mapping program. I wouldn't rely 100% on any of them, including the one in your car. Because, that's why you're smart. You have a bunch of them. I use Waze. I love Waze.
Yeah.
I feel like Waze is going to be the most accurate because if there's a problem, you can fix it.
Exactly. Exactly. And Waze certainly looks different. It's a little kiddie looking compared to your other maps.
It doesn't have the best look, does it?
No, not really. But I assume that will get streamlined in time. A little bit of a duh tip, since we're talking about Apple Maps. This one comes from Brian. Brian says, if you triple click the home button to invert colors, by the way, before I will show you in your settings how you would turn that on if for some reason you triple click and say, it doesn't work for me. If you go down to accessibility, you've got a little guy here at the bottom, triple click. Now, I have it set to, when you triple click the home button, it asks me what I want it to do because I've selected a few different things that are associated with triple clicking. For example, voiceover, invert colors, or zoom. But I could just choose one.
University College, London.
Which,
sorry.
That's
I
all
was,
right.
I was listening to an audiobook. I'm sorry. Keep going.
Oh, you were you?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so I have those turned on, but you'll see why in a second. All right, I'll go back to Brian's email.
I'm not bored.
I've found...
Sometimes I like to listen to audiobooks while you're talking.
Well, that's fine. Just be patient for a second.
It's not that I'm really enjoying what you're saying.
Put your headphones on. Stop being so rude. Stop being that guy. Brian says, I found that inverting the colors when using the maps or navigation makes reading the screen easier. I've attached a couple screenshots. Oh, he did in his email. I'm currently using iOS 7, so, it might be a little bit different. Your mileage may vary, but he says it kind of looks like you're driving around in the Tron world. Well, I like that idea. All right, so let's just open up. This is Apple Maps, all right? So here we go. Or actually, no, this is Google Maps. No, this is Apple Maps. And I'm going to go ahead and say triple click, 1, 2, 3. Now I get my little accessibility options. And if I say invert colors, I guess you're kind of right, Brian. This is sort of fun.
It's pretty.
Yeah,
that's for the night mode.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Now he mentions, if you've got this and it's during the day and there's I don't know, sun streaming into your car or something, this could be helpful.
But, it's really for night. Otherwise, it's too bright if you have the white mode.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Not for the day.
Oh, this is from my let's go ahead and start.
Is this how you got home?
Well, this is in France when I was driving around there last year.
Oh, what a nice feeling, huh?
Would you dancing on the... Yeah, whatever. So, yeah, this is, it doesn't really feel that much like Tron, but I get what you're saying. Just something to remember. By the way, this is not just inverting the map. This is inverting everything. So now all of a sudden, all of my apps
everything's
are
weird.
Super weird. Look at Path is all blue. Facebook is sort of a barfy color. You go to your home screen, you're like, oh my gosh, can't deal with it anymore. You just
people, certain vision issues, high contrast mode is a useful thing.
Yeah, no,
but
that's why it's in
when you're
accessibility.
driving, right? But when you're driving, it's we all have vision issues when we're driving.
I do, especially at night.
Nighttime driving.
Nighttime driving is not my friend.
First
I try
thing
to
that
avoid
goes,
it.
night vision.
I try to avoid it as much as possible. Yeah. Hey, if you want to get a hold of us and be featured on our show, like all of our friends who emailed and even Chant who sent us the video, by the way, thank you for doing that. You look like you have a very nice backyard. You can write us at iPadtoday@twit.tv. You can leave us a voicemail at 757-504-IPAD. Please, when you send us a voicemail, because I listen to all of them, do not tell us your phone number in the first 5 seconds.
Because then we can't use it.
Because we
don't want
privacy.
people to call you.
Yeah, no, we don't want to do that.
You don't want it either.
You, of course, can send us a video. If you do so, like what Chant did, just upload it to YouTube or somewhere else where you can send us the link. I promise I will find them. Maybe put something like video in all caps in your subject line so it doesn't get lost in the fray. And thanks to everybody who submits questions, comments, and feedback to our show each week. We love you all. You the man. And a woman.
Woman. See, I was listening to the psychopath test just to see
what does that mean?
If I am a psychopath.
Turning onto Southampton Row, waving a little self-consciously at me.
This is, look how nice that looks.
Looks great.
Talk about a night mode. This is what I see when I read because I listen to Audible books.
Books where album art still lives.
Yeah, yeah. This is the Audible app on iOS. It looks a faboo. Allows you to navigate very easily through the chapters. Speed up, slow down. You can scrub through them. Audible is a really great way to listen to books, especially for people like me. I just don't have time. Let me pause John Ronson's. It sounds like it's a joke name. His real name should be Ron Johnson, but it's really John Ronson. That's his real name. That's probably why I became a psychologist, because his name was upside down.
You think so?
He was wounded.
And he was like,
As a
this
child.
this is only one way I can go.
I have to become a shrink.
I have to become a psychologist. You forced my hand.
I love the Audible app on iOS. It's beautiful. But really, what it is the gateway to 150,000 amazing books, fiction, nonfiction, mysteries. This is such a good book about Hela. Oh man, I lost it. Hela.
The book is back.
So, can I just say, get yourself an Audible subscription. If you go to audiblepodcast.com/iPad today, you can get your subscription for the first month free. That means your first book is free. If you cancel the first 30 days, you'll pay nothing, but that book is always going to be yours.
I got Song of Ice and Fire free.
Really good.
Yeah.
Love that.
Boy, at first, when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, can I get into this? There's so much. It's very dense. And it only took a couple minutes, and then I was off and running.
Frankly, that's
so fun.
why we do the book deal, the one book free deal, because I know not everybody, if you have no experience with audiobooks, you probably think like Sarah did, I don't know, am I going to be able to understand what's going on? Am I going to be rewinding all the time? And it may not be for everybody, but I do want you to try it, because if it's for you, your life will change. It did for me. I became an Audible member 13 years ago. Listen in the car for 2 hours every day when I was commuting to Tech TV. I listen in the gym now. I listen when I'm cleaning the house. I basically have Audible on all the time. My Sonos, you have a Sonos that works with Audible. My Sonos is always whole house audio playing Audible books. I love it. Somebody in the chat room saying you really ought to listen to Red Shirts. That was the Hugo Award winner for 2013, the best science fiction novel of the year by John Scalzi, and narrated by Ensign Crusher, Wesley Crusher, Will Wheaton. He does a nice job of that one. So now I'm not going to tell you what to get. In fact, I would recommend you browse around, find a book that you really want to listen to, that you're going to get engaged by, and then go to audiblepodcast.com/iPad today and get that subscription, get that first book. You're going to very, very much enjoy it. If you're Game of Thrones fans, that would be a good one too.
I mean, it's 30 hours long.
That's one book.
It's one
of the
single
5
book. Yeah.
Oh, you're going to spend the rest of your life listening. I've only listened to the first 2, and I'm exhausted.
Well, but it's fun though. If you can, that book is one of those books where anybody could tell you that has read the books is like, I mean, you really have to pay attention.
Right.
It's dense. But once you get going, because the guy who reads it is so great, and he does like little voices for people, like he'll go,
I love that.
Women,
yeah.
And it's just hysterical.
He's a really good reader.
He's really good.
Shows,
yeah.
I feel Roy Dotrice.
I feel like somebody really important is reading me a bedtime story.
Yeah. Well, and in fact, on book, I think it was book 5, he didn't read it at first, and the world, everybody was up in arms.
Said, get that.
You've got to have Roy Dotrice.
Yeah.
And then he came back and read it.
Oh, good.
Which is great. So by the time you get to 5, which is about 8 years, you will be able to hear Roy the whole way through.
There you go.
Yeah. audiblepodcast.com/iPad today. And go in our chat room, because they're all going, oh, you got to try Ready Player One. That's great. Demon, oh, that's a great one. They're all going back and forth with their favorite Audible books. That's one thing that's fun about Audible. We kind of, when Audible fanatics get together, that we share our Audible fanaticism.
You know what else is fun, Leo?
Being a princess?
Being a pretty, pretty princess.
I feel like a dragon's going to come and just eat you.
I feel like I have kissed quite enough frogs, and I'm done with that.
You don't have to kiss me, because I'm already a prince.
Oh,
Either that or I've
awesome.
been eating imperial margarine.
I feel like you're a king.
Butter. I was a prince, then my father died, and now I'm a king. I was talking with Abby yesterday about the new Prince George. And I was going through the succession. He's got a long way to go, because his great-grandmother has to go, Elizabeth, then Charles has to go, then his dad has to go, and then he's king.
Okay.
That's ridiculous. Better to be a princess. You get nicer hats, too.
Yeah.
It's time for our App Cap Awards. This is where we pick an app that we really like.
I got lost in the British royalty system for a minute.
But think about it. And he's named after his great-great-grandfather, George III.
There was another George back
5th.
There somewhere.
There was one of them. Yeah, Elizabeth's dad was George.
If George ended up being a girl,
he was the king's speech guy.
She would have been in the same.
Georgette.
She would have been in line, whereas
would she have been in line?
Women would. Yes, they changed the rules pre-royal baby.
Very enlightened.
But that is neither here nor there. when you have the App Cap Awards, which is the part of the show where Leo and I don caps and talk about 2 apps that we really, really like.
You know, Sarah means princess.
It's true.
Yeah.
Hebrew.
Leo means lion.
Rawr. The Lion and the Princess. That is the name of our next show.
Seems like C.S. Lewis might have written that.
Something like that. It seems familiar.
She is with her corgis. Do they really have tiaras, or is that somebody making that up?
Hard to say.
I don't think the corgis have crowns.
I doubt. Look at how the one is bending down. The crown would fall.
I love corgis.
All right, I'm going to get started with my app cap of the week. This is Tetris Blitz, everybody.
Blitz, baby.
You might recall.
I interviewed Alexei Pajitnov, the guy who wrote this game.
Did you?
Way back when, Russian guy. And I was hooked. Is it the real Tetris? It's the full Tetris?
Well, it's Tetris Blitz. Now, there was, you might recall when Google Plus first started offering games that was sort of in the experience, there was Bejeweled Blitz.
Yeah, I love Bejeweled Blitz.
That was one of the games. I was super hooked on it for like a week.
Yeah.
So Tetris Blitz is a little bit like that. It's more of a, what am I doing here? Oh gosh, I got out of this.
Do you know how to play?
Yes, I know how to play. I was in.
Because I can tell you, I know how to play too.
Well, I know how to play as well.
Okay, you press the play button.
It's super quick. You've got 2 minutes.
Oh, it's 3D. Oh no, it's 2D. Okay.
No, it's 2D. You've got 2 minutes.
I like the one where you had the Russian, onion domes in the background. What? What's going? Whoa!
Yeah, so it's like it's
okay,
just,
you know how to play, girlfriend.
Yeah,
You're
dude.
dangerous.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's.
Are you maximizing your pentominoes there?
100%.
Look at that. Oh man.
Now, of course, you can cycle through your objects. Sometimes I just like to not think about it too much.
Mission accomplished. Boom. Whoa.
Yeah. So then now we get into the good stuff. You want to get as much of these as possible.
This is better than Candy Crush. Take that.
Well, it's kind of more exciting.
Is this freemium? Do I have to buy levels?
It is definitely freemium, but you can enjoy the game without buying anything. You have to play a lot.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's just sort of the way that it goes. But it moves really fast.
This is not your grandfather's Tetris.
This is a whole different thing. It's Tetris Blitz. It's different. It's more of like frenetic,
it's
crazy.
Fun. I love it when you clear it. It goes boom, boom.
I know. Yeah, it's very satisfying.
Boom, boom.
I actually got a really high score last night that I have not been able to duplicate. Which is annoying because you get points because they sort of have these like fictional characters where they say, if you beat Johnny, you get 50,000 points, and then you buy stuff. Like I can buy myself more time. Right now I'm playing with basically no money because I spent it all on stuff last night.
You're doing great though.
Thank you.
I feel like you were sandbagging.
This is
you
why I used to be a math major.
Tetris pro.
I actually just really like Tetris. Wow.
Oh, you broke it.
Sorry. It was like, what? All right, so you get the idea. Now, if I say, okay, I want to pause, I want to go back to the main menu.
How many donuts do you have to buy to keep this going? You need a truckload of donuts?
If I go back to my main menu, which it will load now, it gives you some options. Like right now, I'm supposed to beat Nicodemus 3 to unlock. He has 274,000 points. It was hard for me to even get to my high score of like 215,000 last night, so I might be playing for a while.
Challenging.
Right. But I did beat Bucky Wallace. Now I have a variety of...
These are all fake,
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
But,
okay.
but if you play a lot, just by playing, you'd get a variety of achievements. Like I'm almost to a reward of 12,000 points because I've triggered enough power-ups.
This is a study in abnormal psychology.
Exactly. Or I can just gamble and say, this is kind of fun. It's like, all right, I want to stop. What did I get? What did I get? Oh, I got some
Wheel
Toyota thing.
of Tetris.
Oh,
you want a Toyota.
I got to turn it up. So this is actually, as you can see, it's freemium and it's also sponsored by Toyota, but I get one free, basically, game where I can score a lot of points by triggering certain levels of the tiles that turn into cars. I did this last night. It was very weird, but it works. It's fun.
Auto not included.
Absolutely love this game. It's so fun.
You just won a Corolla.
Look, see? Look, there's Toyota in there.
Wow. Wait, there's actually Toyotas in the...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's giving me points. Look.
Whoa, there it is.
It's so stupid.
Hey, that's a good... it doesn't bother me, though. That's
so
a good way to
dumb.
do an ad, right?
Yeah.
It just goes... It's kind of
Yeah.
in there. If we're Snapple, maybe, but Toyota, I don't mind.
Boom. Good fun. Good, clean fun.
Boom.
Come on.
You know, my game
give
is
me a big one.
it's depressingly boring compared to this.
Is it?
Yeah,
because you were talking some smack earlier.
I was, and now I'm
telling me that you had the better game.
There are no stray cars. There's no advertising of any kind in my game. And right now, it's free because it's the app of the week on iTunes.
Okay, I'm gonna not play this game anymore. This is it's dangerous for me. It's
putting me to sleep.
It's addiction. Oh,
so this
really?
you might like this because I was looking for something I could play on a long plane flight. I got a 12-hour plane flight next week, right? And I know you love pushing dinosaur eggs, and you could do that for hours and hours and hours and hours.
You know, Arriving HD was a really good game. I was on one flight. God, there's a fly in my face. I was on one flight. To Las Vegas.
It was an hour flight.
It was an hour flight, and I played it the whole time. And Leo will
I'm just
never
projecting.
let me forget that
you wouldn't
once
talk
upon
to
a time
me.
I liked that you were sleeping
Oh,
on my shoulder.
Was I?
Yes.
Did I drool?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is Pivot. I'm thinking this is going to be my game. It's free right now on the iTunes store. And you may say, well, why should I? Everybody's going to know about this game. But yeah, but you don't. The problem is there's no way to see what the gameplay's like. So I think it's nice for us to play these games. The sound is excellent on this. And this is a game that's strangely addictive. You might, with your spatial abilities.
Yeah.
I
like it.
Yeah, no, you're gonna. I think you're gonna like this. So, okay. Okay. So you're pivoting this thing around now.
Oh
whoa!
my gosh.
You're trying not to hit anything. Okay, let's do this again.
Oh, this is tough.
It is tough. Whoa! Oh man, I was doing better earlier.
Watch your hat, Prince.
Oh, it's the hat that's ruining me.
You're terrible.
Why am I having so? No, I was doing really great before. I stopped the.
Can you slow it down for the?
No, this is hard. This is really. I was doing better. Oh. I was really doing well a minute ago. I don't know what happened here.
Think about what you're doing.
I know. It's because I'm.
There's pressure. Take the hat off. Blasphemy.
Okay. There we go. Okay. Oh.
Okay. All right. Looking good.
Okay. Whoa!
I was about to say it really was that hat. You're just not meant for royalty, but you're just bad at the game.
This is a really fun game, and it's kind of got that same compulsiveness that with the music and everything that Tetris does. I think you would like this.
See, to me, this is one of those games that's
You're gonna be too
way
frustrated?
harder. Yeah. With Tetris, it's all just about like, just try to get points. This is like a matter of dying. Ooh, you are good. Look at you. Hey.
Whoa! Anyway, this is surprisingly fun. I love the music.
I feel like it's gonna give me a seizure.
We're gonna eventually get to Expert Voyage. I'm still on Voyage. If you can get through Voyage, then you can do Endless, then you can do Expert Voyage.
I'm surprised this is free because it's so nice looking. It seems like something that they can charge a couple
it's only
bucks
free
for.
this week. It is normally.
I see what you're saying.
It's
so
free
this is something
week.
We should all go out and grab.
Yeah, well, that's my point. And the problem is you look at it on the store and you say free, but I don't know.
You're better off not having it spin so much. That's the.
Yeah. I was forgetting how to play, frankly. Whoa! I shouldn't have spun it. It's a fun game. This is called Pivot, and it is kind of like your daily commute. If you're Sarah Lane.
Yeah, right. Just try not to die. That's all I'm doing. Just stay alive. Pivoted it.
It's kind of like a running, like a tune.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah,
it's
but
like, who thought of
kind of
this?
grows on you.
Somebody's doing some drugs.
Yeah, kind of grows on you.
Look at you. Do you get to the end?
Eventually.
Does it ever
Whoa!
end? Oh.
I'm better at it than that. It's hard to play that way, but I love the game. It's fun. Pivot, free.
That's fun. Well,
and the music's good. It's an entertaining. And I haven't showed you. There's a lot more other stuff you can do.
Two very good app caps, if we do say so ourselves.
I say so.
You got Tetris Blitz, freemium.
Yep.
There are certain things about it that you would have to pay for, but doesn't diminish from the fun of the game, as you can see. And Pivot, which is free this week, so go out and get it now while you still can.
Yeah, it's on the App Store.
And that's it for this edition of iPad Today. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening and subscribing to the show and telling your friends. I'm confident that we'll get a new iPad very soon.
I hope so.
I do too.
I was hoping before the trip I could get it, but
I know.
I'll be bringing my regular Mini with me.
Well, but soon enough. There you go.
Yeah. This is perfect on the Mini. Just perfect.
Well, and on your Mini, you can run your fuel band software.
I can.
So there's that too.
I want to see how many steps I take as you know how you eat a lot on the boat, but when you travel, you walk around a lot.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see, you know.
You need comfortable footwear, Leo.
Look at that.
It's not all about fashion out there.
That's an orthopedic shoe right there.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week. Leo's going to be on vacation. I have a mystery
guest. Who's your co-host?
guest.
You don't know yet?
I don't know yet, but I'd love to hear some of your ideas, and I will try to get them to be on the show.
And that's the truth.
And that's all I have to say about that. Bye.